Good morning and welcome. Today we are going to explore a gentle and ancient path to a more peaceful life, drawn from the heart of Japan. We will be talking about Shinto principles, not as a complex religion, but as a beautiful way of thinking and living that can bring harmony into our modern world. Before we begin our journey together, I have a simple question for you all. What is one small beautiful thing in nature that you have noticed and appreciated so far today? Perhaps a bird's song or the color of the morning sky. Please take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments below, as it connects beautifully with what we are about to discuss. Let us begin with the very heart of Shinto, a concept known as embracing kami. Now, when many of us hear the word Shinto, we might think of it purely as a religion with grand shrines and formal rituals. However, it is much more accurate and helpful to see Shinto as a way of life, a gentle philosophy focused on our connection to the world around us. It is a deep-seated appreciation for nature, a reverence for our ancestors, and a quest for purity and sincerity in our daily actions. This way of life does not ask you to abandon your own beliefs, but rather invites you to add a layer of mindful awareness to your existence. At the very core of this worldview is the concept of kami, a word that is often translated as God or spirit, but its meaning is much broader and more profound. Kami are not like the single, all-powerful deity found in many Western religions sitting in a distant heaven. Instead, kami are the divine presences that inhabit all things, imbuing the natural world with a sense of sacredness and life. Think of the feeling of awe you experience when you stand before a truly ancient and majestic tree, one that has stood for hundreds of years. That feeling of reverence, that sense of a powerful life force, is the recognition of the tree's kami. A towering mountain that touches the clouds has a powerful kami, its presence shaping the landscape and the lives of those who live in its shadow. A rushing river that carves its way through the land, providing life-giving water, also possesses its own vibrant kami. But the concept does not stop with these grand and obvious examples of nature's power and beauty. Kami can also be found in the smaller, more intimate parts of our lives, which is where this philosophy becomes truly personal and transformative. The warmth and life-giving energy of the sun on your face is a manifestation of a powerful kami. The gentle rain that nourishes your garden and cleans the air has its own spirit. Even an unusually shaped rock that you find on a walk, one that catches your eye and feels special in your hand, can be considered to have its own unique kami. This belief extends beyond the natural world and into the things we create and cherish. The spirit of our ancestors, their wisdom and their memory are considered kami that watch over the family. A beautifully crafted tool, made with skill and used with care for generations, can be thought to contain a spirit of its own. Even the simple act of preparing a meal can be a way of honoring the kami within the ingredients, the life force in the rice and vegetables that will soon nourish our bodies. To put it in very simple terms, the idea of kami teaches us that there is a divine spark, a sacred essence in everything. This means that the world around you is not just a collection of lifeless objects, but a vibrant and living community of spirits. The wind is not just moving air, it is the breath of the world. The fire in your hearth is not just a chemical reaction, it is a source of sacred warmth and light. Your morning cup of coffee or tea, when you stop to truly appreciate its warmth and aroma, can be a small moment of connection with the kami of comfort and renewal. You might be wondering why these ancient beliefs, from a culture so far away, could possibly resonate with us today in our fast-paced modern world. The reason is that these ideas offer a powerful counter-narrative to the disconnection and stress that so many of us feel. Our modern lives often encourage us to see the world as a resource to be used, a series of objects to be acquired, and a schedule to be conquered. We rush from one task to the next, our minds filled with worries and to-do lists, rarely stopping to truly see and appreciate the world we live in. This constant hustle creates a sense of separation, a feeling that we are apart from nature rather than a part of it. Shinto, through the concept of kami, gently pulls us back into a state of connection. It reminds us that we are not alone, but are part of a vast, sacred web of life. When you start to see the divine presence in a simple houseplant or in the loyalty of a pet, your relationship with your environment begins to change. You move from being a mere consumer to being a respectful participant in the dance of life. This shift in perspective can be a profound antidote to stress and anxiety. When you feel overwhelmed by the pressures of the world, taking a few moments to simply sit in your garden or a local park and consciously acknowledge the life around you can be incredibly grounding. Recognizing the kami in the rustling leaves and the solid earth beneath your feet helps to put your own problems into a larger, more peaceful context. It fosters a sense of gratitude for the simple, life-sustaining forces that are always present, even when we forget to notice them. Embracing the idea of kami does not require you to build a shrine or perform complex ceremonies. It begins with a simple, quiet shift in your awareness, a decision to look for the sacred in the ordinary. It is about pausing for a moment before you drink your water to feel gratitude for its life-giving purity. It is about looking at an old family photograph and feeling a connection to the spirit of those who came before you. It is about cultivating a sense of wonder and respect for the world, from the grandest mountain to the most humble blade of grass. This ancient belief tells us that meaning and peace are not things we must search for in some distant future achievement. They are present, right here and now, waiting to be discovered in the world that surrounds us every single day. Now that we understand the central idea of kami, the sacred presence in all things, let's explore how Shinto translates this belief into daily practice through ritual. The word ritual might sound intimidating, suggesting complex ceremonies that require special knowledge or tools. However, in the context of Shinto for daily life, rituals are best understood as simple, mindful actions that help us cultivate purity and gratitude. They are practical ways to clear our minds, express our thanks, and strengthen our connection to the world around us. Two fundamental concepts in Shinto ritual are misogi and harai, which both relate to purification. Misogi traditionally involves purification with water, famously by standing under a cold waterfall, a practice you may have seen in pictures. Harai is a more general term for purification rituals, often involving a priest waving a special wand, but the underlying principle is the same. The purpose of these rituals is to wash away kegare, which can be translated as impurity, defilement, or spiritual dust. This is not about sin in the way some religions understand it, but rather the natural accumulation of stress, negativity, and mental clutter that we all gather just by living our busy lives. Think of it like the dust that settles on the furniture in your home. It is not a moral failing. It is just a natural consequence of time passing. Just as we clean our homes to feel comfortable and clear, we must also periodically clean our minds and spirits. So how can we apply the principle of misogi and harai in our modern everyday lives without needing to find a waterfall? The modern application is all about mental and emotional decluttering, using simple actions as a trigger for an internal cleansing. A long, hot shower or a relaxing bath at the end of a difficult day can be a form of misogi. As you feel the water washing over your body, you can consciously imagine it also washing away the worries, frustrations, and negative thoughts from the day. You can visualize the stress flowing down the drain, leaving you feeling refreshed and mentally lighter. The simple act of thoroughly washing your hands can also be a mini ritual of purification. Instead of rushing through it, you can take a moment to be mindful, feeling the soap and water, and thinking of it as a way to cleanse yourself of any negativity you may have encountered. Similarly, the act of cleaning and tidying your living space is a powerful form of harai. When your home is cluttered and disorganized, your mind can often feel the same way. The process of sorting, cleaning, and putting things in their proper place is not just a physical chore. It is a meditation that brings order and clarity to your inner world as well. A clean, uncluttered room feels more peaceful, and that external peace helps to foster a sense of internal calm. Beyond purification, another key aspect of daily ritual is the practice of making offerings and showing reverence. Again, this does not need to be a grand gesture at a formal altar. It is about the small, consistent gestures of gratitude and respect that help us foster a state of mindfulness. An offering in Shinto is a simple gift of thanks to the kami, an acknowledgement of the blessings we receive. You can practice this in a very simple way each day. Before you eat a meal, take a moment to pause and offer a silent word of thanks. This is not just for the food itself, but for everything that brought it to your table. The sun and rain that helped it grow, the farmers who cultivated it, and the energy it will give you. This small pause transforms eating from a mechanical act into a moment of grateful connection. This is much like the concept of saying grace, but with a focus on the interconnectedness of nature. You can also create a small, simple space in your home to serve as a focal point for gratitude. It could be a windowsill, a small shelf, or a corner of a room. You might place a beautiful stone you found, a fresh flower from your garden, or a photograph of a loved one there. The simple act of placing a fresh flower in a small vase each day can be a beautiful offering, a way of bringing nature's beauty inside and showing your appreciation for it. It takes only a minute, but this small ritual can set a positive and grateful tone for your entire day. These rituals also encourage us to connect more deeply with the natural world, to find sacred spaces not just in distant national parks, but in our own immediate environment. Your sacred space could be your own backyard, a nearby park, or even a single potted plant on your balcony. The important thing is to treat it with reverence. Spend a few minutes there each day, not doing anything in particular, but simply being present. Notice the details, the way the light filters through the leaves, the texture of the bark on a tree, the sound of the birds. This practice of focused attention helps to quiet the noisy chatter of the mind and connect you to the peaceful, steady rhythm of the natural world. If you have a garden, the very act of tending to it, watering the plants, pulling weeds, nurturing the soil, is a profound ritual of connection. You are actively participating in the cycle of life, working in partnership with the karma of the earth and the plants. This is a form of active meditation that can be incredibly therapeutic and grounding. For those who live in apartments or have limited access to green space, a single houseplant can become your connection to nature. Caring for it, watching it grow, and appreciating its quiet presence can be a daily ritual that reminds you of your place within the wider web of life. These simple personal rituals, purifying your mind through mindful cleaning, expressing gratitude through small offerings, and connecting with the nature in your immediate surroundings, are the heart of a Shinto-inspired life. They do not require you to change who you are. They simply ask you to bring a greater sense of intention, awareness, and gratitude to the things you already do, transforming the mundane into the sacred. Having explored our personal connection to the world through karma and daily rituals, we now turn our focus outward to our relationships with other people. A cornerstone of Japanese culture, deeply influenced by Shinto thought, is the principle of wa. Wa is a simple word that translates to harmony, but its meaning encompasses so much more than just the absence of conflict. It represents a positive and proactive approach to social well-being, emphasizing the importance of the group, the community, and the collective good over the desires of the individual. In a world that often celebrates rugged individualism and personal achievement above all else, the principle of wa offers a gentle yet powerful reminder that we are all connected. Shinto teaches that just as we are part of the great web of nature, we are also part of a human community. The well-being of that community is essential for our own personal peace and happiness. Where is the recognition that our lives are intrinsically linked with the lives of those around us, from our immediate family to our wider society? It is the understanding that a smooth, cooperative, and respectful social environment allows everyone within it to thrive. This goes beyond simply being polite. It is about actively working to create and maintain a state of balance and peace in all of our interactions. One of the most practical lessons we can learn from wa is the art of compromise and consensus building. In many Western cultures, disagreements are often framed as a battle to be won, where one person's argument must prevail over the others. The principle of wa encourages a different approach. It suggests that the goal of a discussion or disagreement should not be to determine a winner and a loser, but to find a solution that everyone can agree with and that preserves the harmony of the group. This requires deep listening, empathy, and a willingness to set aside one's own ego for the sake of the relationship or the community. Think about a family discussion about where to go for a holiday dinner. A conflict-oriented approach might involve each person arguing stubbornly for their own preference. An approach guided by wa would involve everyone stating their preference, listening to the reasons behind others' choices, and then working together to find a compromise that makes everyone feel heard and respected, even if it is not their first choice. The ultimate goal is not to get what you want, but to ensure the family remains happy and united. This principle can be incredibly valuable in navigating our modern relationships, whether with a spouse, children, or friends. When a disagreement arises, instead of immediately thinking about how to prove your point, you can ask yourself, what can I do to restore harmony here? This might mean choosing your words more carefully, acknowledging the other person's feelings, or looking for a third option that you had not considered before. It is not about being a doormat or giving in all the time, but about prioritizing the long-term health of the relationship over the short-term satisfaction of being right. The principle of WA is also highly relevant in workplace dynamics. A team that operates with a sense of WA is one where members support each other, share credit for successes, and work collaboratively to solve problems. It is an environment where people feel safe to voice their opinions because they know they will be treated with respect, and where the focus is on the team's collective success rather than individual competition. This approach can lead to a more pleasant, less stressful, and ultimately more productive work environment for everyone. The influence of WA can be seen very clearly when you observe Japanese society. There is a strong emphasis on politeness, consideration for others, and public order that often strikes visitors as remarkable. The quietness on public transport, the neatness of public spaces, and the general reluctance to cause inconvenience to others are all outward manifestations of the deep-seated cultural value of WA. This comes from the Shinto-influenced idea that society is like a single interconnected entity. If one person acts selfishly or disruptively, they create a ripple of disharmony that affects everyone. For instance, the simple act of speaking quietly on a train is a small sacrifice of personal expression for the greater good of a peaceful journey for all passengers. This is WA in action. Now, we can integrate this principle into our own lives without having to change our entire culture. It starts with small conscious acts of consideration. It means holding a door open for the person behind you. It means putting your shopping cart back in the designated area instead of leaving it in a parking space. It means making an effort to keep your voice down in a quiet place like a library or a waiting room. These are not grand, heroic acts, but they are the tiny threads that weave a strong and harmonious social fabric. At its heart, the principle of WA teaches us to look beyond ourselves. It asks us to consider the impact of our words and actions on the people around us. It encourages us to be good members of our families, our neighborhoods, and our communities. By practicing empathy, seeking compromise, and showing consideration for others, we not only contribute to a more pleasant society, but also cultivate a deeper sense of inner peace for ourselves. When our relationships are harmonious and our social environment is stable, our own minds are less troubled by conflict and stress. In this way, caring for the well-being of the group becomes a profound act of self-care. As we continue to build upon our understanding, we now arrive at a theme that beautifully ties together our connection to nature, our rituals, and our community, living in tune with the rhythm of the seasons. In our modern world, with electric lighting, central heating, and supermarkets that provide any type of food year-round, it can be easy to lose our connection to the natural flow of time. Shinto, with its deep roots in an agricultural society, places immense importance on observing and celebrating the seasonal cycles. This is not just about marking dates on a calendar. It is about aligning our own lives, our activities, our moods, and our perspectives with the great repeating rhythm of the earth. This alignment brings a sense of stability, meaning, and peace. One of the most visible and joyful expressions of this principle is found in Matsuri, the vibrant festivals that take place throughout the year in Japan. Each festival is tied to a specific time of year and a particular aspect of the natural cycle. There are festivals in the spring to pray for a good planting season and to celebrate the blooming of the cherry blossoms, a powerful symbol of life's beautiful but fleeting nature. In the summer, there are festivals to ward off pests and to celebrate the vitality of the growing season. Autumn brings harvest festivals, where communities come together to give thanks to the kami for the bounty of the earth. Winter has its own festivals, celebrating the new year and the return of the light after the darkest days. These matsuri are more than just parties. They are powerful rituals that serve several important purposes. Firstly, they reinforce community bonds. People of all ages come together to prepare, participate, and celebrate, strengthening the social harmony, or wa, that we just discussed. Working together to build a float for a parade or cook food for the community creates a sense of shared purpose and belonging. Secondly, these festivals are a collective expression of gratitude to the kami for the blessings of the season. They are a way for the entire community to pause and acknowledge their dependence on the forces of nature. Finally, they serve as a joyful reminder of the constant, reliable rhythm of the world. No matter what personal troubles one might be facing, the seasons continue to turn. The cherry blossoms will bloom again, and the harvest will come. There is a deep comfort and resilience to be found in this eternal cycle. We can bring the spirit of Matsuri into our own lives by practicing what we might call seasonal mindfulness. This means consciously adapting your daily routines and your awareness to align with the flow of nature, which can have a wonderful effect on your energy and peace of mind. In the spring, as the world reawakens, you might feel a natural urge to start new projects, to clean your home thoroughly. Spring cleaning is a form of purification, or harai, and to spend more time outdoors as the days grow longer and warmer. This is a good time to plant a garden, or even just a few pots of herbs, connecting directly with the season's energy of new growth. In the summer, the season of peak energy and light, you can adapt by waking earlier to enjoy the cool of the morning, and by eating lighter meals with fresh fruits and vegetables. Summer is a time for vibrant activity, for enjoying the long daylight hours, and for connecting with the full lush life of the world around you. In the autumn, as the energy of nature begins to draw inward and the leaves begin to fall, it is a natural time for us to become more reflective. You might adapt by tidying your garden in preparation for winter, enjoying a slower pace, and eating warmer, more grounding foods like root vegetables and squashes. Autumn is a season for harvesting not only crops, but also the lessons and experiences of the year. In the winter, the season of rest and quiet, nature teaches us the importance of slowing down and conserving our energy. This is a perfect time for cozy indoor activities, for reflection, and for spending quiet time with family. Winter is not an ending, but a necessary period of rest that allows for the renewal of life in the spring. Aligning your life with the seasons in these simple ways can make you feel more grounded and less at odds with the world. Instead of fighting the dark, quiet energy of winter by trying to maintain a summer level of activity, you learn to embrace the rest it offers. Instead of feeling frustrated by the heat of summer, you learn to adapt your schedule to work with it. This is a form of harmony, of wa, with the natural world itself. Underlying all of this is a profound lesson about honoring change and impermanence. Each season has its own unique beauty and its own challenges, and each one gives way to the next in an endless cycle. Shinto teaches us to embrace this flow rather than resist it. The falling of the cherry blossoms is not seen as a tragedy, but as a poignant reminder of the preciousness of the present moment. The decay of leaves in the autumn is not an end, but a vital part of the process that enriches the soil for future growth. By observing these cycles in nature, we can learn to apply the same wisdom to our own lives. Life is not a static state, but a constant process of change, of growth, of aging, of loss, and of renewal. There will be seasons of great energy and joy, and there will be seasons of quiet introspection and even sorrow. By accepting this as a natural rhythm, much like the turning of the year, we can develop greater acceptance and resilience. We learn that difficult times like winter are not permanent, and that periods of rest are necessary for future growth. Living in tune with nature's rhythm is a pathway to a more peaceful and accepting existence. It reminds us that we are part of something much larger and more ancient than our own individual lives, and that there is a deep and abiding wisdom in the simple, steady turning of the seasons. We have journeyed through the core ideas of Shinto philosophy, from embracing the sacred presence of kami in all things, to practicing daily rituals of purity and gratitude, to fostering harmony with others through wa, and aligning our lives with the rhythms of nature. Now let's bring all of these beautiful principles together and discuss how we can practically integrate them into our modern lives to create a more harmonious and fulfilling existence today and in the years to come. The goal here is not to become a Shinto scholar or to perfectly replicate ancient ceremonies. The goal is to borrow the essence of this timeless wisdom and apply it in simple, actionable ways that resonate with our own lives and bring us a greater sense of peace and connection. First, let's distill this down into a few practical takeaways you can start with immediately. A wonderful first step is to begin each day with a moment of nature appreciation. Before you get caught up in the news or your to-do list, simply look out a window or step outside for a moment. Find one thing to notice and appreciate: the color of the sky, the shape of a cloud, the sound of a bird, or the feeling of the air on your skin. This simple act, taking less than a minute, sets a tone of mindful connection for the rest of your day. It is a modern way of greeting the kami of the morning. A second practical step is to incorporate a small ritual of gratitude into your daily routine. The easiest place to do this is at mealtimes. Before you take your first bite, pause for just a few seconds. Take a breath and silently acknowledge the food in front of you and the long journey it took to get to your plate. This small act of reverence transforms the act of eating into a moment of gratitude and helps you feel more connected to the web of life that sustains you. A third step is to practice wa in your daily interactions. Make a conscious effort in one conversation today to listen more than you speak. Try to truly understand the other person's perspective before you formulate your own response. When you are in a public space, make a small effort to be more considerate of those around you, perhaps by holding a door or simply offering a warm smile. These small acts of harmony create positive ripples in your environment and in your own state of mind. A significant part of integrating these principles involves creating your own personal sacred space, a concept we touched on earlier. This does not have to be elaborate. In fact, simplicity is often more powerful. Find a small corner in your home, perhaps a windowsill, a small table, or a shelf that you can dedicate to quiet reflection. Keep this space clean and uncluttered, which is a form of harai, or purification. You can place a few simple items there that have personal meaning for you. This might be a beautiful stone you collected on a walk, a treasured family photograph, a small plant, or a candle. This is your personal space for connecting with kami, with your ancestors, and with your own inner sense of peace. You can visit this space for a few minutes each day, perhaps in the morning to set your intention or in the evening to reflect. You do not need to do anything specific. You can simply sit quietly, be present, and breathe. This space becomes a physical anchor for your spiritual and mental well-being, a quiet sanctuary in your own home where you can always return to find your center. The rituals you perform can also be personalized to fit your life. We talked about how cleaning can be a form of purification. You can make this more intentional. As you're tidying your desk, imagine that you are also clearing away mental confusion and creating space for new ideas. As you are weeding your garden, visualize that you are also removing negative thought patterns from your mind. By attaching a positive intention to these everyday chores, you transform them from mundane tasks into meaningful rituals that support your well-being. Living with the seasons can also be made very practical. At the beginning of each new season, you could make a small change in your home to honor the transition. You might change the color of your throw pillows, put out a vase of seasonal flowers, or change the art on your wall. You can also make a point to cook one meal a week using ingredients that are fresh and in season in your local area. These small acts help you to stay mindful of the passage of time and to appreciate the unique gifts that each part of the year has to offer. Ultimately, integrating these Shinto principles is about cultivating a new way of seeing the world. It is a path to deeper connection. It is about learning to see the divine spark not just in a faraway temple, but in your own home, your own garden, and your own relationships. It is about realizing that your life is deeply interwoven with the natural world and with the human community around you. By embracing these ancient ideas, we can begin to heal the sense of disconnection that is so common in our modern age. We can learn to live with more grace, more gratitude, and a deeper sense of our place in the world. This path does not promise to eliminate all of life's challenges, but it offers a way to navigate them with greater resilience, a calmer mind, and a more open heart. It is a timeless guide to finding harmony within ourselves, with each other, and with the beautiful world that is our home. Thank you for spending this time with me today, exploring these gentle principles for a more harmonious life. If you found this discussion helpful and would like to explore more topics on well-being and mindful living, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please remember, the information shared here is for educational purposes, based on extensive research and personal experience in helping people with their well-being. It is not intended as medical advice.